It's that time in the show to check in on livestock markets with our livestock marketing specialist, Dr. Derrell Peel. And Derrell, it's cool. We finally got some rain, and much of the country got some rain as well. So has that changed the overall outlook for the current cattle situation?
Well, it's certainly going to help eventually, at least. You know, if you look in Oklahoma, the drought monitor says that, the drought conditions have backed off a little bit. Although in Oklahoma, it's increasingly become kind of a east-west thing with the haves and the have-nots. But this rain, and recently the West has gotten some rain that they missed out on earlier. So, in a couple of weeks, it should show up in pasture conditions. Right now, the pasture ratings haven't really changed very much, but it takes a little bit of time. The rain is just come. So pretty new. Around the country, kind of the same story. The pasture conditions have improved generally across the U.S., so I think we're in somewhat better shape.
Does that mean that there's going to be any chances for herd rebuilding at all?
Well, it's pretty late. You know, it's already the end of June, so I don't know if producers have already changed their plans for the year. It's certainly going to help at least stabilize things. So maybe we for sure stop the liquidation, which would be a first step. Because previously the drought was pretty threatening to maybe see some additional liquidation. So this should help stabilize things. It might allow for some possibility of a little bit more heifer retention as we go through the year.
So there's been some more cases of New World screwworm been reported in Texas. What's the current situation with that and its impacts to cattle markets, if any?
Yeah, it really isn't impacting cattle markets very much. That's what we expected. It doesn't change, cattle production. It's not significantly affecting either the supply or the demand side of the market. So we don't see any general market impacts. Obviously, in the areas where it is, it's a huge impact on those producers and in those regions with a lot of extra efforts to monitor, surveillance for this thing, treating as needed, because we are finding a few more cases. So it's mostly a management and a cost issue, not a market issue.
So, it's June right now, although it doesn't really feel like it. June's almost over. Pretty cool right now out here in Oklahoma. What's the other half of the year kind of look like for cattle markets?
We're pretty much kind of on track with the same story that we've had. We talked about the possibilities for herd rebuilding. It looks, somewhat limited at this point, so I think we're going to kind of move sideways, maybe stabilize these numbers. Markets are still very strong. They had pulled back just a little bit, both feeder cattle as well as fed cattle. Feeder cattle markets have jumped back up with this rain and some improvement in pasture conditions. We're seeing a little bit of summer strength here for feeder cattle markets. So box beef markets are holding steady and still above year-ago levels and continuing to hold steady. So everything is kind of on track to continue the path that we've been on, which is basically for steady to higher prices pretty much across the board.
And demand is still there as well, as we're kind of really entering peak grilling season as well, right?
Yeah, we haven't seen any real change there. Again, the box beef markets generally are showing it, and certainly, we don't see any indications of weakness in demand. So, we continue to enjoy very strong markets supported by supply as well as very strong demand.
Just touching really quick back on New World screwworm, and if the situation continues to progress further north, do you expect cattle markets, especially broadening out of that in the country, to really be impacted at all if cases still keep moving forward north?
I don't really think so. Again, this thing is an issue of dealing with it on a sort of a local basis, wherever that local is. Yeah. I don't think it's going to impact cattle markets. It's not going to affect enough animals in terms of mortality or anything like that to impact cattle production. So it's just a huge cost and management issue, but probably not going to be a market impact.
All righty, thanks, Derrell. Dr. Derrell Peel, livestock marketing specialist here at Oklahoma State University.